Hello, beautiful. I did this thing last week. I listened to a thing about, it was a Neville Goddard technique, which was about remembering things the way you would have liked them to be rather than the way they were. And it had amazing outcomes that people had of like they'd been seriously injured in accidents and then they kept remembering that the accident didn't happen and they healed. So awesome. So I looked back at some stuff that I would have liked to have gone differently and thought I would do the same thing, but then found when I got to it that I couldn't quite get there. So one of the situations that it took me back to was one time, and I think I was about 10, I might have only been 8, I don't know, but I was lying in bed and I couldn't sleep. So I got up to get a drink of water, and my father was in the kitchen making a drink for him and Mum. I didn't know my father made drinks, um, or that he could be in the kitchen at that time. I just thought I was getting a drink of water. So I went to open the kitchen door, and then there's Dad in there, very unhappy to see me. So he's like, "What are you doing up at this time?" And I said, "I'm just getting a drink of water because I couldn't sleep." And he ranted at me that I shouldn't be up. And then so I was as quick as I could be and left the room. And in that kitchen there's a particularly slammy door. And even just shutting it normally sort of sounds like a slam. So I shut the door. He took it as me slamming the door, and I heard him coming after me, so I ran and jumped into bed. And he came in ranting at me and hit me round the head for slamming the door in his face. And so I cried. I couldn't tell anyone because my mum had always told me that, like when my sister would beat me up and stuff, that I provoked people and that was my problem. So, yeah, I just cried and had a headache for days afterwards. So if I remember that differently, so I go back to that time. So I get up because I can't sleep and I just want to get a drink of water. And I go into the kitchen and my father's in there and he goes, "Oh, couldn't you sleep? Are you feeling all right?" Me, "Yeah, I just couldn't sleep." "Oh," gives me a hug, kisses me on the forehead. And says, "Well, I hope you can get to sleep now, my darling." And I go off to bed feeling low. I like that scenario a lot better, but it just seems so ridiculous. It's so far away. I mean, I've heard from other people that fathers can be like that, but it just feels so far away from my experience. So, rather than being able to get myself to believe that that's what happened, because that just believe that, yeah, no, I can't even articulate that. But what I did get to was what if, because I can do what if, and then I can sort of laugh about it, because maybe that's as close as I get to believing it, is just being able to laugh at And I don't even get why it would be funny, but just the idea of the father going, "Are you all right, my darling?" and being concerned and loving. I think it unpacks a lot, because part of the thing about that is then I would be someone who believed that they were lovable, even if they did get up at night and get a drink of water. Which again, sort of, it makes me smile, because it's like, yeah, because it's so simple. Yeah. And then I go, fast forward to my own being a parent, and just can't imagine being that angry with my child that I would not respond with love when they got up to get a drink of water. Mm. But also, because that is, I know, yeah, there's so much to unpack, but I'd be such a different person. I just would be living a different life, and I think that's why I didn't um, finding the word fully embrace the whole idea of changing the past. Because do I want to? And then I'd be a different person. Then I'd have to do something different. Yeah. If I'd just always felt loved, I wouldn't be able to relate. Well, maybe I could. But if I feel like I couldn't relate to people who have been through not feeling loved, which is possibly most of us. Because my feelings on that is that we're the ones here making the change. It was only when I was a child that it started becoming a thing that perhaps you shouldn't hit your children. And even, there were people my age whose parents very much did believe in hitting their children. There's probably people my age who hit their children and think that they deserved it or needed it or something. And younger even. So by being the child who went through that, I get to be one of the change makers, to go, no, let's not accept that anymore. Let's not take our anger out on other people. Let's have a look at our anger and have a look at our children. Mm. Mm. I feel like I'm doing another one of those ones where I don't come to a definitive, because I don't have solutions. I only have questions, and I keep getting more questions in my search for solutions. I actually find the more I look, the more I don't even want solutions. Yeah, that's what I found with this. I could do a technique and change myself. Maybe that's not what I came for. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. Thank you for being with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.